Nigel Eistead has a problem. He's president of the Split Screen Van Club, but he drives one of the dodgiest vans on the scene.
Battered, beat up, leaking oil.
He's given himself 5 months to transform his tired 65 Devon camper Dipsy into a cool bus with over 100 brake horsepower.
It will scare the life out of him.
With a full-time job and a young family, he's certainly going to be spinning plates for a while.
Oh, what's that, Tom? Bus! Good boy!
It's day one of the project and Nigel sets about stripping Dipsy back to a rolling shell.
This is the original interior. It's nice and easy to take out. It's not a long job at all.
Nigel will be refurbishing this tired interior, but to impress at the summer shows, he'll need to spend a bit more time and cash pimping.
We've got the stereo there, which lives in the back, because when you're out in a camper, you spend more time in the back than you do in the front. There's a remote commander on the front, CD multi-changer under the seat. The wiring is unorthodox, shall we say, but the last time it went back in, it was just a temporary fit just for one show. It doesn't work at the moment.
The worrying thing is it's just for show.
Stripping this van shouldn't pose Nigel any real problems. His main worry will be all those water traps that have been hidden for 40 odd years.
Right. Blimey, mate, that didn't take long, did it?
No. Not bad when you get on with it, is it?
No, I remember when I was doing my bay, and I did it so many times that I just had the interior in and out within about an hour in the end.
Yeah, it's cool,
just
isn't it? It's
crazy, isn't it?
It helps if you've got mates who are as heavily into the V-dub scene as you are. Nigel's, however, are a bit more realistic about this project.
I had a later camper van that took me since October 2000 until about 6 months ago to complete. It's going to be a tall order. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Camper vans sourced in Europe with its wet climate are notorious rust buckets. Due to the demand in the UK, a lot of vans are shipped over from drier places like California and Australia.
You can spend thousands of pounds paying the welding, whereas you could just buy a rust-free one from a hot climb and save yourself all the hassle.
Nigel has made the big decision to have the shell chemically dipped rather than blasted. This will destroy everything but solid metal and could reveal a lot more work than he's estimated.
I knew that was pretty rough.
He does know what he's letting himself in for, but even so, it's a big old job.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
As with the interior, removing the engine is quite straightforward. Being air-cooled, there are no radiators or coolant hoses to deal with. A team of Germans swapped a Beetle engine in a record 1 minute 37 seconds.
Ready? Yep.
With that in mind, the boys are having a crack at their personal best.
And carry on out. And that's clear.
Yeah. Job done. How long?
2 minutes and a second.
Oh,
It's not bad. Really?
why'd your head be oil, mate?
So despite a couple of stubborn bolts, the stripping's going well, but there's one job Nigel isn't looking forward to.
Steering wheels are notoriously difficult to remove, and lots of people end up damaging or completely breaking their steering wheels and trying to remove them.
Nigel is testing a theory that different metals expand at different rates when heated. Because the steering wheel boss is a different metal to the column,
That works then.
the job's a good one.
That was a beauty. I've been dreading taking that off for 12 years. There we go. It's off.
Well done. Well deserved.
Nice one. These vehicles, they were designed in a completely different age. They're as simple as you can get, really. They were designed to be worked on in workshops from Islington to Istanbul by guys who had no formal mechanical training. As things have come off, the condition of the van, there have been no big surprises.
Uh-oh! Daddy? Oh,
Tar.
lovely Dar.
Thank you.
Dar. He's going.
Put that in that
Look
box.
at that bit of junk.
I was going to hit the corner of the door.
Well, the door could open it even further.
Day 2, and Dipsy's been stripped back to a rolling shell, but her wheels and running gear will have to be removed before she's taken to be chemically dipped. This process will ensure that all rust and organic materials will be removed. The treatment is totally unforgiving, so Nigel is a bit worried about what will be left of his precious bus.
We're never ever going to get it on there.
But the first problem is going to be getting her onto the trailer.
Okay. The main difference from 99% of cars on the road is that it's rear wheel drive, hence why we're taking a gearbox out of the back and just an axle out at the front.
Before the back axle and gearbox can be removed, the braking system needs to be ripped out.
Hey, look at that, they pull straight out. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Nigel will be replacing most of the original rear running gear with an independent rear suspension setup incorporating a rebuilt gearbox.
The only things that we'll be reusing of this is the nose cone and this that's called the hockey stick, which is the basically the selector that allows you to choose which actual gear you're in. Other than that, this, to be honest, I'll just mothball just on the off chance that I ever want to return to stock.
Some of the bolts haven't been removed in 40 years, so it's taken a lot longer than Nigel had hoped. And Rich is becoming more and more concerned over the state of the shell.
So all of that has come off from around here, which the acid dipping will get rid of. But as you can see, it's been very badly repaired. I mean, that panel there is not even welded. I don't know who did that, but it was either done as a quick repair for the MOT man or to hide some nasties underneath, which as you can see. But the dipping will reveal all on this wonderful machine.
Yep. Unlike the rear, Nigel is keeping the original front running gear, but it will be modified to run lower and accommodate Porsche replica wheels. Companies able to dip a split screen van are few and far between. Luckily for Nigel, there's a place in Dudley able to accommodate him. It's basically a 4-stage process using various acids and alkalines. These strip every scrap of organic matter from the van, be it paint, underseal, or in Dipsy's case, loads of filler. A lot of the stuff that's been keeping her on the road for all these years.
No, you're absolutely sure there's nothing left on there, no aluminium, because obviously there's any aluminium parts or components on there, they will disappear in the process. They can be cleaned, but they need to be kept separate.
Right.
And they have to go through a separate process, different system.
There's nothing that I want on there.
The process has numerous advantages over blasting. Firstly, there's no scarring of the surface by the blast media, and none of it gets stuck in the nooks and crannies, which can be a nightmare after the paint's gone on. Also, because it's a full immersion system, nothing gets missed.
However it comes out here, there's no going back then. We've really gone past the point of no return. We've then got to do the welding that needs doing. And really, until it's completely stripped back, we don't know exactly. We could end up adding a few more weeks or even a couple of months onto the welding. I hope not, but you just never know.
Being Christmas, the process will take a few weeks, and one thing's for sure, Dipsy will never look the same again. These vehicles are generally known as the Type 2, with the Beetle classed as the Type 1. They were inspired by an odd-looking flatbed transporter shuttling around the VW factory in Wolfsburg, Germany. Most owners now choose to restore these buses to near authenticity, or give them a full custom makeover like this 1956 13-window microbus.
Probably 2 years full on to get to the standard. First of all, I started to put a TV in up here, put a PlayStation in, surround sound for the DVD player, and then after we built this seat, we were like, well, got to have a TV this end as well for people to watch it.
A full classic restoration job can be a much bigger project. Despite widespread availability, sourcing every original component can mean a lot of time and money scouring shows and trawling the net.
I was shown 4 pictures of it, not very good pictures, but when I saw it, I know the potential it got.
Jason's bus is a 23-window Samba, one of the most sought-after models. Sourced from South Africa, he paid $4,000 for it and spent around 20 on the restoration. It could now be worth 30 plus.
I wouldn't sell it though. Pride and joy.
Nigel won't be creating a show winner. Just getting Dipsy back on the road will be a huge undertaking. It hasn't been a happy Christmas for Nigel. He's still waiting for news from the Dippers and has just received a worrying phone call.
One of the guys who I sort of pretty much hoped was going to be doing the welding, and he sort of given me a price and time scale beforehand, has now rung up and said after it's gone into the dipping that he's not actually even sure if it's worth doing.
The amount of welding needed could be make or break for the project. At this stage, Nigel doesn't know how big this job will be, and now he's got the added headache of finding someone to do it.
Really, my concerns are that it's just not going to get finished. We're just going to end up with a hunk of metal, and the whole project's going to go to pot, really.
I'm not quite sure what we're going to do, what's going to happen when she comes out.
Unfortunately for Nigel, after the first stage of the chemical dipping process, it's looking like Dipsy will need a lot more work than he'd bargained for.
Don't get me wrong, I've had people come down here and they thought they've had a really good shell, and it's broken their hearts to see the work they've got. I do know a good weld when I see it, and there isn't too many of those on there, and you can see that the level of corrosion is actually being hidden by the paintwork and all the other gunk and rubbish that was on that shell.
Yeah, over the years, she's had, just, to be honest, some fairly shoddy repairs, partly down to you just couldn't get the panels for them, and partly down to the fact that some of the repairs just haven't been done very well. I know that whatever comes out of it will be good steel, and whatever doesn't come back would have been rotten anyway.
We'll take away all the rust, but obviously we can't put back the missing chunks of metal. So he's definitely got a fair amount of work left on this.
So I've got no regrets about the actual process itself, but it's what the process uncovers is what we've got to worry about.
Now we've started spending the money, we've got to keep spending the money. It's got to work, the project's got to work.
Literally all I can do is sit and wait until she comes out.
There's every chance that Nigel's £6,000 bus could be rendered worthless. Next time, all is revealed when Dipsy steps out of the bath.
It's bad. It's probably the worst shell we've had to look at.
And will Nigel be able to find somebody willing to take the project to the next stage?
Everything that you see out there, I would throw away and start again.
After the stripping and the dipping, Nigel starts work on the engine next Sunday at the same time, 8:30. But stay here now in Discovery Real Time to see the tables turned on a chap called Chip. That's after the break.